Hari Om. Can you all hear well, or is it soft? Good. Hari Om. Hari Om. Better. How about online? Can you all hear me well? Okay. यन्मायावशवर्ति विश्वमखिलम् ब्रह्मादिदेवासुरा यत्सत्त्वादमृषैव भाति सकलम् रज्जौ यथा हेर्भ्रमः यत्पादप्लवमेकमेव हि भवाम्बोधे स्थितिर्षावता वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारणपरं रामाख्यमीशं हरिम्। श्रीराम जय जय राम ओम श्रीराम 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 जय राम ओम जय राम ओम जय राम ओम। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। We were in the portion where Janak Maharaj has come to Chitrakut, where Bhagwan Rama is, and the kind of austerity that all Mithila Vasis they also follow, having come to Chitrakut, that is something Goswamiji highlighted. He said all of them fasted, and until Bhagwan Rama told them to eat, nobody ate. And in spite of having so many difficulties, hardships of forest life, they say as long as we can see Bhagwan, we are with him, none of these hardships are actually a hardship. None of this is an hardship. Forgetfulness of Bhagwan, that is our real hardship. All this was being highlighted until Doha number 280. After that, our Sunaina ji, who is the mother of Sita ji, she comes to meet Kausalya ji, Sumitra ji, and Kaikeyi. And then they're discussing about Bharat ji. What they discuss is after 280 Doha. Let us chant it. Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Ehi vidhi sakala manorath karahi बचन सप्रेम सुनत मन हरहि सिया मातु तेहि समय पठाई दासी देखि सुअवसरुआई सावकाश सुनि सब सिय सासु आयु जनक राजर निवासु कौसल्या सादर सनमानी आसन दिए समय सम आनी सीलु सनेहु सकल दुहु ओरा द्रवहि देखि सुनि कुलिस कठोरा पुलक शिथिल तन बारि बिलोचन महीनख लिखन लगी सब सोचन सब सिय राम प्रीति किसी मूर्ति जनु करुणा बहु बेश बिसुरति सिय मातु कह विधि बुद्धि बाकी जो पय फेनु फोर पबिटाकी सुनिय सुधा देखियहि गरल सब कर तूति कराल जह तह काक उलूक बक मानस सकृतम राम सुनि सोच कह देवी सुमित्रा विधि गति बड़ी विपरीत विचित्रा जो सृजि पालय हरई बहोरी बालके सम विधि मति भोरी कौसल्या कह दो कौसल्या कह दो सुन काहू करम बिबस दुख सुख छति लाहू कठिन करम गति जान विधाता जो शुभ अशुभ सकल फल दाता ईसर जाई शीस सब ही के उतपति तिथि लय बिषहु के देवी मोह बस सोचिय बादी विधि प्रपंचु अस अचल अनादि भूपति जी अब मरब उर आने सोचिय सखी लखी निज हित हानि सिय मातु कह सत्य सुबानी सुकृति अवधि अवधपति रानी लखनु राम सिय जाहु बनै भल परिणाम न पोचु गहबरिया कह कौशिला मोहि भरत कर सोचु सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. All of them are making this manoratha that may we stay in the proximity of Bhagwan, may there not be forgetfulness of the Lord. But they say, where is our bhagya like this? Whatever destiny has willed, that alone will happen. Even to get proximity of Bhagwan in the midst of all hardships, they say that also demands great destiny. Bachana saprema sunata mana harahi. Everyone looking or hearing their words, each other, they are getting joy by looking at each other's devotion. Siya matu tehi samaya pathai, dasi dehi ki suavasaru ai. Sita ji's mother, her name is Sunaina ji, she sends few dasis to go and check whether Kausalya ji and all the other queens, they are free at this time. Savakasa suni sabasiya sasu, ayav janaka raja rani vasu. The dasi goes and says, this is a good time. All the queens are available. Remember, they are in the forest. There are makeshift tents. There is no palace over here. That's why the word Ranivasa, in English Gita Press book, some strange name they give, Gynecium or something. Means that place where queen lives, that is called as Ranivasa. Just like, whichever plane the president flies is called Air Force One. Like that, wherever the queen lives, that thing is called as Ranivasa. It might be in the forest also. It's a special home for the queens. Now, Sunaina ji is coming to meet Kausalya ji and all other queens. Kausalya sadara sanamani. Kausalya ji welcomes her with lot of respect. Asana diye samaya sama ani. And gives her appropriate place to sit. Gives her all the atithya. Sila saneha sakala duhu ora. From both sides, there is so much of love. The queens, Kausalya ji, Sumitra ji and Kaikai. And from other side is Sunaina ji. All of them are thinking about Bhagwan Rama and Sita ji. Whenever Jiva's mind turns towards God, that Jiva becomes beautiful. And looking at each other, they are getting joy. Silu saneha sakala duhu ora. Silu means the personality, the softness in their personality, in their vyavahara. And sneha means love. Dravahi deki suni kulisa kathora. Looking at each other's love, how they are unconcerned about themselves and thinking about Bhagavan. Even a thunderbolt would melt. Means devotion has so much power that it will melt even a stone-hearted person. Like that, each other, they are getting joy by seeing their love for God. Pulaka Sithila Tana Bari Bilochan. One is they all know what has happened. Three of them are concerned about daughter-in-law. Sunaina ji is concerned about her daughter. That also is going in their mind. So their body is becoming weak and eyes are filled with tears. Mahi nakha likhana lagi sab sochan. They are not talking to each other. With their toenail, they are scratching the ground. If you remember, this is how Sita ji responded when she came to meet Bhagwan Rama when he was ready to go to Vanavasa. She did not even ask why you are going for Vanavasa. Her main thing was, I am coming with you. But before she said something, all she did was she took her toenail and scratched the ground. Means everybody, their mind is in something and nobody is able to express that particular emotion. How are they looking right now? Sabasiya Rama Preeti Kisi Murati. All of them are looking like murtis, embodiments of love for Bhagwan Rama and love for Sita ji. Means Goswamiji reminds us, this is not worldly love. The emotions that they're having in their heart is divine love, where devotee might have knowledge of Vedanta also. But still he chooses to make Bhagwan as different from him and love God. Ramakrishna Paramahansa says, such type of devotees don't want to become sugar, they want to eat sugar. Vedanta says, you are that sugar. But this devotee says, I want to eat sugar. So knowing Bhagwan's nature, they are the ones who want to put their mind in God. Janu Karuna Bahu Besha Bisurati. All of them are like embodiments of Karuna, compassion. That is how it looks like. Siya Matukaha Bidi Budi Baki. Sitaji's mother, Sunaina, she says, this Bhagwan's mind, it is very strange. Jo Paya Penu Phora Pabi Taki. There was this broth, nice milk was there. That milk was spoiled using a thunderbolt. Means something which is so gentle, so beautiful, that also can get so much of pain and sorrow that you wonder, how can this thing get so much sorrow? So she says, our Sita ji and Bhagwan Rama, they are like that, the white milk, pure milk. Why did Bhagwan have to bring so much of calamity on them? That is her thought process. Suniya Sudha dekhiye hi garala. She says, what we hear and what we see, it is totally different. We have heard that there is something called as nectar. But has anybody seen it? She says, no, we have not seen nectar. Poison is not spoken about, but she says poison is available in plenty. You see that. Suniya Sudha dekhiya garala. We have heard about nectar, but what we see is poison. Saba karatuti karala. Bhagwan's ways are very strange. You don't know what he is up to. Jahatah kaka uluka baka. Manasa sukrita maral. She says, we have heard so much about that Hamsa bird, which distinguishes water from milk. The white swan bird, but it is nowhere to be seen. What do we see? We see crow, we see an owl, we see other crane bird. But this Hamsa bird, it is so rare, must be somewhere in Manasarovar, but it is not seen. When she says, what we hear and what we see, in that there is a mismatch. This vision will be when we are just looking through our physical eyes. Somebody who thinks just with his physical sense organs, that person will arrive at similar conclusion. Right when she starts thinking this way, Sumitra ji speaks. Suni sasochakah Devi Sumitra. Listening to Sunaina ji's words, that what we hear and what we see, it is totally different. looking at her mind going in a different direction, which is not Shastriya. Sumitra ji is a very wise lady. Even before she had spoken to Lakshman ji, why did Vanavasa happen? What did Sumitra ji say? Vanavasa happened because you can serve Bhagwan Rama. When he's in the palace, so many people are around him. So you don't get to serve. There in the forest, you'll have Bhagwan, nobody will be around him. That is why he is going to Vanavasa. You should not even ask. And she gave the definition of Ayodhya also. She said, Avadataha Jaha Rama Nivasu. Ayodhya is there where Bhagwan Rama lives. So don't say you are going on Vanavasa. We are going on Vanavasa. You will be in Ayodhya with Bhagwan Rama. We will be here without him. That is Vanavasa. So that Sumitra ji, she is speaking now. Suni sasochu kaha devi Sumitra. Listening to Sunaina ji's words, Sumitra ji speaks. Bidhi gati badi viparita vichitra. She says the ways of God are very strange. He is all-knowing, he is Sarvajna. We cannot understand as Alpajna what are his ways. Alpajna means little knowing. Tomorrow's Mundaka Upanishad, this is the topic. Yes, Sarvajna Sarvavit. What is Sarvajna? Means Bhagwan is the one every devotee feels. That he is all-knowing, not only of this whole universe, but also what is good for me. In fact, in every religion, they have accepted God as Sarvajna. No God in any religion is Alpajna. So she says, he is all-knowing, he knows what is right. But when we see a very short time span, it looks very strange. You don't know what he is up to. Jo Sruji Palai Harai Bahori. He is not an ordinary person. He is the one who brings about this universe. Srujayi. Doesn't create and let go of it. He takes care of it. Palai. And at the same time, he destroys it also. See, some small creation if we have to do, first we need knowledge of it. We cannot just start and let go of it. We have to sustain it. And we should also know how to grow out of it. All three things are important. No creation should be such that we enter and we get stuck. That is like silkworm example that we give in Vedanta. Silkworm brings out its cocoon, gets stuck in it, and finally perishes in it. Unlike that, intelligent creation is, it is created, it is sustained, and it is destroyed. Destruction is creative destruction for the next cycle of creation. So she says, this is the same God. You see this universe, how vast it is. The one who has created is sustaining and will destroy. That Bhagwan is doing. Bala keli sama bidimati bhori. Sometimes it might look like he is a child. Just like children make that sand castle. And before they have made it, they destroy it. And you wonder, you made it with so much effort. Why did you destroy it right away? There is no logic. It might look like a child. Some things that he is doing, he says, why did he have to do this? But she says, he is Sarvajna. He knows what he is doing. After Sumitra ji, Kausalya ji speaks now. Kausalya kaha dosuna kahu. Kausalya ji says, O Sunaina ji, please don't blame anybody. Don't say, God's mind got perverted. God's mind is strange. We should not blame. Karama bibasa dukkha sukha chati lahu. Each one gets experiences based on their own karmas. And as Jiva, we don't know who has done what. Our own karmas, we don't know. Best example is, last Wednesday for dinner, what we ate, we don't know. What to talk about the karmas which you have done in the past. What to talk about past lives. Different karmas are there. Based on that, different experiences come. So Kausalyaji says nobody is supposed to be blamed. This point I have seen elaborately in Lakshmana Gita, when Nishad Raj blames three causes. He blames Kaikeyi also, blames destiny also, blames God also. So Lakshmanji says, if you have one effect, at least have one cause. Don't have three causes bringing out one effect. The main cause is karma. Destiny will just make sure that dots are connected, and God's grace will bring that result to the right recipient. Just like it is true for erroneous results or erroneous karma, it is also true for good karmas. Kratau supte jagrat, Tomasi phala yoge kratumatam. Shivamahimna Stotram, it was said. Once karmas go to sleep, God is awake to give karma phala to the jiva. So he makes sure that right karma phala comes to right jiva, no matter where he goes. Either in this loka or some other loka, this country or some other country, karma phala will find him. So she says, karma bibasa dukha sukha chati lahu. Don't blame anybody. Kathina karma gati jana vidhata. God only knows what is best for me because the nuances of karma are very difficult to understand or appreciate which action will give which result. She says, we cannot understand, we cannot know. At the same time, what is good for me, that also she says, God knows better than us. So let him take care. Don't insist on a particular result. Jo subha asubha sakala phala data. This is a nice chaupai. Huh? Who is Bhagwan? He is the one who gives results of good and bad actions. Jo subha asubha sakala phala data. We might be getting certain results in our life, but the bhavana of the devotee is, the sender is my Bhagwan. The srota, the origin of this result, origin of this experience is God. If he has sent it, he cannot send anything wrong. This point we had seen in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also. This is in Guru Nanak Ji's teaching. He says there is no other doer than God, and God cannot do anything wrong. Bhagwan cannot do anything wrong, and there is no other doer other than Bhagwan. So then why worry? This is the mantra given to look at any sorrow in life. Guru Nanak Ji says, if any sorrow comes, how should I face it? First think that the one who has sent it is none other than Bhagwan. And whatever he sends, he can never send anything which is not good for me. करने वाला कोई और नहीं और भगवान से कुछ बुरा नहीं. Two things. There is no doer other than God, and God is somebody who cannot do anything wrong. You know, in olden homes, they used to have this water pipe from the roof drain, they call it. And the mouth of that water pipe would be like a lion. In some places, like a cow or a lion. If you just look at the lion's mouth, it looks like water is coming from that mouth. But that is only a conduit for that water to come. Water source is somewhere else. In the same way, karma phalas might look like they're coming from some person. But here, Kausalya ji says, this Subha and Asubha phala, they're coming with God's grace. While doing our karma, our attention should be on doing good karma. While receiving karma phala, attention should be on the one who is sending karma phala. While doing karma also, we should pay attention to karma phala data. But most importantly, while going through experience, he says he is the one who gives karma phalas. Don't find any faults with him. Next line again is Guru Nanak Ji's echoes, The word we had seen there was hukum. That this world runs under Bhagwan's command. More Jiva accepts it, happier he will be. More he fights it, to that extent is the agitation of his mind. You see what she says? Isa rajai sisa sabahi ke. The command of God is something which is over all jivas. Whether we like it or not, it is more powerful than our individual opinions. Utapati titilaya bishahu amike. It is the one which brings about creation, sustenance, dissolution. And it is also powerful than Amruta and Visha. Means everything in this creation is run by the Lord. Devi moha basa sochiya badi vidhi prapancho asa achala anadi. Leave this moha and just surrender to his will. He has brought us this situation. Rather than trying to fight it, just accept and surrender to God's will. I had read one anecdote in one Mahatma's life. He was saying that when they were studying in their monastery, they had to wash clothes by their hand. No washing machine was there. So every day in the afternoon, sometime they would reserve for washing clothes. Now, brahmacharis, what else will they discuss, while washing clothes? So they would take one Vedanta topic and loudly discuss while they were washing their clothes. So one day their topic was karma siddhanta. How does this karma work? And with lot of arguments, one person was telling one point, second person was telling another point, and so on. And there was one very senior monk who lived in that same building. He was getting bothered by these people talking, loudly. So he just came, stood behind them. And he says, he looked into our eyes and said, do you all want to know what is law of karma? They said, yes, Swamiji, what is law of karma? He said, law of karma is God's will alone prevails. He said, what is law of karma? Hari Ichha Balavan, God's will alone prevails. And this Mahatmaji was 65 when he wrote this. He said, until now, I'm trying to appreciate what he said. What is law of karma? God's will alone prevails. Now, how should we understand this? We say, look at our life. Whatever situations are coming, and whatever things I want in the future, more we try to analyze those things, we will realize our hands are tied. Our hands are tied in predicting or expecting that this is how the result will be. Take any example. Right now we are in some place. Can we say for sure 5 years later we will be in the same place? Place could be anything, job you say, or whatever it is. We can only wish. You say your karma is very powerful. Can't I decide 5 years later where I will be? One Mahatma Ji said a nice thing. Why did God create future? He said God created future so that we can remain humble. Because that future, when we see, we realize what is the limitation of Jiva. Things are in his hand. More we accept it, to that extent we'll become nischint. So this is one way to look at it. Look at future. We realize there is nothing that Jiva can say for certain, this is how it is going to be. So in whose hand it is? Jiva will have to accept it is in Bhagwan's hand. Then what about self-effort? Right now, what I'm doing, is it in my hand or not? See, if somebody is doing karma yoga, what is their bhavana? I am the instrument in the hands of the Lord. I am the instrument in Bhagwan's hand. So whose ichha is working even right now? Bhakta will say it is his ichha only. This in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan says, if somebody does not acknowledge it and goes against this, atachetvam ahankarat nashroshyasi vinangshasi. He says, if you don't listen to this advice of surrender, that mind will be destroyed. Again, that destruction is not the conventional way of destruction, that this will go to hell, nothing like that. He says the agitation of that mind will be so much that it has failed to appreciate the strength of totality. If you look at it closely, what Bhagwan is telling us in Bhagavad Gita is, Arjuna, your free will is in surrendering to me. Your free will is in surrendering to me. If you don't do that, then your Rajoguna and Tamoguna, they will take over. If they take over, your own mind will not be in your control. The one who doesn't surrender is Sattva Guna. So if Sattva Guna is not there, which other two gunas will take over? Rajoguna and Tamoguna. He says, Arjuna, look at your own mind. When Rajoguna and Tamoguna is high, are you in control of yourself? He says, just observe, we will helplessly end up doing things. So instead of going that route, he says, best way is, I have given you free will, surrender to me, and as my instrument, do what I make you do. So for a karma yogi, even right now, karta is Bhagwan only. So he says, where is free will? Free will is only in turning to God, turning attention away from world. And that includes cultivating all qualities. So we have free will as far as overcoming our negativities are concerned. But the way this creation runs, in that Bhagwan says, we don't have much say. There is one nice verse in Panchadashi. We have seen it multiple times. Yada bhavi natad bhavi. Bhavi chet natad anyatha. Yad abhavi natad bhavi. What is not meant to happen, it will never happen. And what is supposed to happen, no matter how hard we try to stop it. Bhavi chet natad anyatha. Now, why are we discussing all this? Vidyaranya Swamiji says, iti chinta vishagnoyam. If somebody appreciates this, they will become free from chinta, worry, and visha, poison. That worry which creates so much of agitations, they'll be free from this. Bodhaha brahma nivartaka. That knowledge of totality, knowledge of power of God, will remove the delusion from their mind. That is this advice Kausalya ji is giving Sunaina ji. She says, we have free will, but that free will is to accept God's will. And then leave everything up to Him. That surrender itself will bring all divine qualities. Bhupati Jiva Maraba Ura Ani. Oh, she is in a different mood now, Kausalya ji. She says, we all were lamenting for Janak Maharaj, right? We were really not lamenting for him. Bhupati Jiva Maraba Ura Ani, Sochiya Sakhi Laki Nija Hita Hani. It was for our joy we were lamenting from him. It was for our own joy, our own hita, well-being, we were lamenting from, we were lamenting for Janak Maharaj. This is an Upanishad mantra. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything is dear to us for one's own sake. This our Yajnavalkya ji tells Maitri. After living a living good life, Yajnavalkya ji says, I want to go and take sannyasa. Maitri says, why are you going now? Don't you love me? Then he says, really speaking, nobody loves anybody. We all love ourselves, whatever gives us joy. For that, we love other things. See, Upanishad mantras, they will just say a fact. It is up to us to do mananam. Not only do mananam, but they see the reality of these mantras in our own life. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. But there is a small nuance to that mantra. We love others based on what our understanding is of ourselves. If we think we are the body, if we think we are the mind, we will love others so that this mind and body will be happy. Whatever gives joy to the mind, those things we will love. The day that thing stops giving joy to the mind, that day we will stop loving that. So this is Ajnani's love, ignorant person's love. It is based on give and take. Until I am getting joy, there is love. The day that joy stops, love also stops. Now, if that person knows his own true self as Atma, Atmanastu Kamaya is said, right? So, what is the meaning of Atma there? If somebody understands Atma as body and mind, this is one kind of love. But if somebody understands Atma is Shuddha Chaitanya, which is self of all beings, that person's love will be a saint's love. It doesn't expect anything. That love is only an expression of reveling in that Atma Tattva. Just like we are attached to this body, right? Or how we see this body, a realized master sees all bodies as his body. Just like we see our mind and they say, this is my mind. Mahatma who has understood Atma Tattva, one who sees himself as self of all beings, he looks at all minds as his mind. So where is the question of raga? Where is the question of dvesha? That is this line, Sochiye Sakhi Laki Nija Hita Hani. She says, we are lamenting for our own joys, not for anybody else. Main thing here is we should find the source of joy. It is not outside, it is inside. If we misunderstand it, we will take ourselves to be this body, and all our love will be inferior kind of love. We know that story in Shankaracharya's life, where he enters another king's body. What was his name? Amaruka. One king was there, Amaruka. He was almost on his deathbed. And our Ubhaya Bharati Devi, she asks one question for which Shankaracharya says, I will enter his body and then I will answer your question. Now everybody around him was crying and weeping that the king is going away, about to die. But the moment Shankaracharya enters his body, he becomes alive again. Just like a young person, he is alive. But the thing is, his mind is of Shankaracharya, body is of the king. And in a few days, the queen thinks or understands, something is wrong. This person was never spiritual. Now all the time is meditating, talking about high philosophy. So she's not having that same satisfaction as she had from the previous king. So then Shankaracharya, it is said, asks her, whom were you loving? If you loved that king, his body is still here. I am that king. So that love was actually the joy that she was getting through that king. That is not coming anymore. So then he quotes the same verse, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Everything is dear to us for our own sake. Siya Matuka Satya Subani, Sukruti Avadi, Avadapati Rani. Sunaina ji, she's so happy listening to Kausalya ji's words. She says it is not surprising that you are speaking like this. Sukruti Avadi, Avadapati Rani. Avadapati is Dashrath Maharaj. You are the queen of Dashrath Maharaj. But really speaking, you are the Avadi of Punya. Whatever merits a person can have, all of that you are having. So it is not surprising you are speaking like this. Kausalya says, I have one concern. Lakhanu Ramasiya Jahu Bana, Bhala Parinamana Pochu. She says, Lakshman ji, Bhagwan Rama, and Sita ji, they are going to Vanavasa. In this, something good only will turn out. Who is saying this? Kausalya ji. She says, with a heavy heart, I am saying this, but I know this is true. Nothing wrong is going to happen. All three of them are only going to bring good for everybody. But my concern is Bharatji. Hiya kaha Kosila mohi Bharata kara sochu. I am more concerned about Bharatji. Now, what is it about Bharatji? She says, let's see the next doha. ईस प्रसाद असीस तुम्हारी सुत सुत बधु देव सरिवारी राम सपत में कीन्हि न काऊ सो करि कहु सखी सति भाऊ भरतशील गुण गण बिन भरतशील गुण बिनय बड़ाई भायप भगति भरोस भलाई कहत सारदहु करमति हीचे सागर सीपकि जाहि उलीचे जानू सदा भरत कुल दीपा बार बार मुहि कहे महीपा कसे कनकुमनि पारखि पाए पुरुष परिखियहि समय सुभाए अनुचित आजु कहब यस मूरा शोक स्नेह सयान पथोरा सुनि सुर सरि सम पावनि बानी भई स्नेह बिकल सब रानी कौसल्या कह धीर धरी सुनहु देवी मिथिलेसै को विवेक निधि बल्लभहि तुम ही सकै उपदेश सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय श्री सतगुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. This previous point, what we saw, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati, same point Bhagwan Shankaracharya uses in Bhajagovindam also. He says, if we are too attached to people, and this person says, because of my social contacts, I don't have time for spirituality. Shankaracharya says, Yavat vitto parjana saktaha, tavan nija parivaro raktaha. Until somebody has productive potential, they're able to give joy to somebody. Until that point, everybody values. After that, Paschat Jivati continues to live even after body becomes frail. Jarjara dehe vartam kopina pruchhati gehe. Now, those verses are just to remind us that we have to become serious about spiritual pursuit. If somebody gives several reasons why I cannot be spiritual, the entire Bhajagovindam is that, right? Why we should worship Govinda. So this person said, right now I am busy with too many things. Lot of social contacts, they are taking my time away. That's why I cannot worship Govinda. For that person, Bhagwan wrote that verse. Same idea, but mentioned in a different way. Isa prasada asisa tumhari. Kausalya ji continues, she says, by God's grace and your blessings. Whose blessings? Sunaina ji's blessings. She says, our son and daughter-in-laws, All of them are pure as Gangaji. Means to get good family members is not in the hands of Jiva alone. He said this is because of Isha Prasada, Bhagwan's blessings and your blessings. Rama Sapata मैं कीन है ना काऊ. She says, I have never done such a thing before, but today I am going to do it. What is it? I am going to swear in the name of Rama. Going to say something by taking Shapata of Bhagwan Rama. What is it that you are going to say? She says, Bharata Sila Guna Binaya Badai. This Bharatji, I tell you, his Sila, Sila means gentleness. In his personality, the gentleness which is there, Guna, all the qualities that he has. Binaya means humility. Badai means his large-heartedness. Bhayapa, his brotherly love that he has towards others. Bhagati means devotion. Bharose is faith. And Bhalai means his goodness. Kahata Saradahu Karamati Hiche. Even Saraswati ji and Goddess Sharada cannot describe these qualities of Bharatji. Sagara Sipaki Jahi Uliche. Can you empty the ocean using a shell? So Bharatji's qualities are like that ocean. Nobody can describe how great he is in all these things. Jano Sada Bharata Kula Deepa. I've always known Bharatji as a shining light in our family. Like a Ratna, a jewel. Our Akbar had Navaratnas. Like that in our lineage, one of the best kings, you say, or best individual is our Bharatji. Kula Deepaka he is. Bara bara muhe kaheu mahipa. Same thing Dashrath Maharaj also told me when he was alive. Kase kanaku mani parakhi paye. Gold, they say there is one stone. When you rub against it, you know whether it is real gold or not. Or if there is some gemstone, when you take it to the jeweler, he is the one who will be able to identify that stone. Like that, she says, a person is identified based on his response to a given situation. Puja Gurudev has a quote where he says, man is measured by the quality of his response. What is my spiritual progress? How should I measure it? Same situation, if it comes again, how do I respond to that situation? I had read one story in life of one king. He was a Persian king, great devotee of God, or wanted to know God, wanted to see God. That desire was there. But his shortcoming was he was attached to his luxuries. So every night he would want flowers on his bed. In that fragrant bed, he would go and sleep. Then only he gets sleep. So one day he goes and sleeps, and he finds two people walking up on his roof, stomping, making so much noise, talking to each other. He comes out and says, who is there up? They say, Maharaj, we were just taking our camels in your kingdom. The camels got lost. We are searching for camels. He says, searching for camel? How come you think you will find it on the rooftop of a palace of a king? They say, just like you think you will find God by lying in your flowery bed. They were two people sent by Bhagwan to wake him up. So he gets, some inspiration just with their words, leaves everything, and he goes to find a teacher. And story goes, he goes and finds Kabir Das ji, who was living somewhere in a very remote village. He goes and finds him, says, can I be your disciple? Kabir Das ji says, you will have to stay here. I'll watch you. Before I give you my teaching, you have to be ready to receive this teaching. So he stays for a long time. 6 years go by. He's staying there. Kabir Das ji's wife, her name was Loi. She tells Kabir Das ji, you think he's still not ready? 6 years have gone by. I think you should give your teaching now. Kabir Das Ji says, he's not ready yet. She says, no, I saw him. 6 years he has done what you told him. He is ready. Then he says, okay, I'll give a test. You go and do it and tell me what he responds. Tomorrow morning, after cleaning the home, whatever dust, everything you have gathered from the home, stand on top of the roof. As he enters the house, throw it in front of him. All the garbage that you have, that you throw it. She does exactly what he has told, takes it up. Next day before he comes, throws it in front. Right when she throws it, he says, if this was Persia, nobody would dare do this to me. He says that and he goes inside. Then she comes and tells him, this is what he said. See, I told you he's not ready. The point is, man is measured by his response. Not only outer actions, but how does this person respond to a given situation? Then the story goes, 6 years go by, and same Lohi comes and says, at least now he is ready. Now Kabir Das Ji says, the vessel is ready to pour the water. Now she says, what is the test? He says, same test. Go and do the same thing and see what he says. And this time his mind was so pure that he says, I'm such an egoistic person. Whatever is coming to me, that is what I deserve. She comes and tells this thing to Kabir Das Ji. Then he begins his teaching. And the story is very interesting. There is a sequel also of it. After learning from Kabir Das Ji, he goes back to his country. And Kabir Das Ji's teaching were Vedantic teachings, you are that infinite self. Don't get caught up with any conditionings. So this person, goes back to his country and he's doing job of a cobbler in his own country. His minister finds him. He says, Maharaj, what are you doing here? 12 years ago you went and we did not know where you have gone. Your sons have become the king now. You should come back. It is said he was having that needle with him. He takes that needle, throws it in the river, which was in front. He says, can you get that needle back? The minister says, I can get you cart full of needle. Kabir Das Ji says that king says, not cart full, I want that same needle. And it is said right at that moment, a fish takes that needle and brings it to him. One small fish brings it. That is where he says, I cannot go back to become the king. I am already employed in Bhagwan's kingdom. That is called as tuning with totality. Whatever I want, he will provide. And the knowledge that my guru has given, he says, this kingship, what you are giving me, it's a very small thing compared to what I have received. That is how the story ends. But the main part is, man is measured by quality of his response. So like that, she says, Bharatji got so many situations in his life, but all of that he was able to so graciously handle. Anuchita aja kahaba asamora, soka saneha sanayapa thora. She says, all these things which are going on in my mind, they are making my viveka go down. There is so much of sorrow. At the same time, there is love. So I'm unable to think clearly. Looking at Kausalyaji's words, which are as pure as Gangaji, all the queens become overwhelmed with love and just to see her in that condition. Now she says, Sunaina ji, you might be wondering, why am I telling you all this? He says, Kausalya kaha dheera dhari, sunaho devi mithilese. Listen, Sunaina ji, what I want you to do is, when you go back to your place, please tell Janak Maharaj that Lakshman ji should go back to Ayodhya and Bharat ji should stay with Bhagwan Rama. So out of all the people who are here, my hopes are mainly on Janak Maharaj now. Kausalya ji is telling Sunaina ji, he says, my hopes are mainly on Janak Maharaj. He is the only person who can bring about any change in this situation. He can tell Bhagwan what to do. So when you go back, please tell Janak Maharaj this thing. If he agrees, if Janak Maharaj agrees, then you vehemently pursue this point. Means first try to float this idea with him. If you think he is on board, then you pursue it further. Then she says, my love for Bharatji is sometimes even more than Rama. I know him as a child. His love for Rama is very Gupta. Gupta means it is hidden. He will not speak much. Lakshmanji, on the other hand, he is very outspoken. Mother also, if there are two children, one boy is very introvert, and second son is very outspoken. Whom will mother care more? The introvert person, she will make sure that his needs are taken care, because he will not say, like that Kausalya ji says, I know Bharatji. If he stays at home, then it is not good for him. So make sure that you tell Janak Maharaj, Bharatji should go with Rama and Lakshmanji should come back. I will manage. Lakshmanji is okay, we will handle him. But Bharatji, if he stays home, that is not good for him. Listening to these words again, the Karuna Rasa came about in that whole prasanga, and all the devatas, they start showering flowers. Right at that time, Sunaina ji, Kausalya ji, they are talking. Sumitra ji comes and she tells Kausalya ji, it is time for prayer. Sandhya time, when it comes, it was so important for them. They say, no conversations now, we have to go and pray. So right then, Kausalya ji comes and she says to Sunaina ji, now it is time. I think you should go back to your tent very quickly. So she goes back. But before going, she falls at Kausalya ji's feet. Sunaina ji, she falls at her feet. She says, it is very easy to speak about ego, but very difficult to conquer it. In spite of saying that ego is mithya, ahankara is mithya, it will in a very subtle way, unknown way, creep up and raise its fang. The example given is, although a person might wake up from dream and know that it was a dream, but if it was a bad dream, the palpitation will still be there in waking state. That mithya dream created satya result. Like that, this ahankara, which is mithya, in spite of knowing it, it will keep rising. That is why she says the quality of humility is a very, very important quality on the spiritual path. And that quality, she says, I am seeing it in Kausalya ji. In spite of being so powerful, she is asking for help from Sunaina ji and says, my support is now Bhagwan and Janak Maharaj. So Sunaina ji says that, she says, Laki saneha suni bachana binita janaka priya gah paya punita devi uchita asi binaya tumhari dasarata gharini rama mahatari. 284 after that. It is not surprising you are speaking like this, because you belong to the glorious Raghuvamsha. You are belonging to that home of Raghus. This is the virtue that they revere. And the quality of great people is they respect everybody. They respect everybody. Fire is so great. It takes the ahuti of all the yajnas. But that fire keeps smoke with it. That fire respects smoke. Mountain is so great, so big, but on its head it has grass. Like that, she says, quality of a great person is that person respects everybody. You said Janak Maharaj is your support. Sunaina ji says, Janak Maharaj is at your service. Sevaku Rao Karama Banabani. On Janak Maharaj's behalf, Sunaina ji is saying that our king, he is at your service. Sada Suhaya Mahesa Bhavani. And God's grace is always with you. So you don't have to worry about what is going to happen next. She says, you belong to such powerful lineage. God, Bhagwan is your son. You don't need anybody's help. Can the flame help the sun? Flame cannot help the sun. Sun is the one who is illumining the flame. Like that, we cannot provide any help to you. It is with your grace, Bhagwan's grace, we all are thriving over here. She says, everything will go well. Yajnavalkya ji had come to our court once and had already told us that Sita ji will have to go through these difficulties. But after that, everything will fall in place. Bhagwan Rama will again come back to Ayodhya. He will again rule. And all the devatas, they will get their positions wherever they are. Ravana's atrocities will end. Everything will be good by his grace. Again, she falls at Kausalyaji's feet. But now she says, can I have Sita ji with me? Because you have come from Mithila, but you have not seen our daughter. From far we saw, I want to take her with me to our tent, wherever we are. Then Sita ji comes with her and meets everybody appropriate. According to their positions, she meets them. But then everybody is sad seeing her in that condition. By now, she has worn an ascetic robe. She's in a tapasa vesha. Last time they had seen her was in the palaki marriage. They were sending her off with all the jewels and gems, and now they are seeing her in this condition. So everybody is a little disappointed and sad. But in their heart, they have pure love for Sita ji. And our Janak Maharaj was not there at that time. He was talking with Vasishtha Maharshi. They were discussing something. Then he comes, taking Vasishtha Maharshi's permission, comes back and sees Sita ji at his own place. It's filled with love. Goswamiji says this love for Janak Maharaj's love for Sita ji is another divine love. Not only father's love for daughter, but he also knows her as mother of the universe. That bhavana he has, and he embraces Sita ji. Now, how did Janak Maharaj feel when he embraced Sita ji? How was his love? Goswamiji brings a very unique example from Pralaya time. Markandeya Rishi, when he sees Pralaya, he sees all the great kings disappearing in that deluge of water. And there was one island where he goes and stands. There was a Vatavruksha, which was there. And in that Pralaya water, he finds one small leaf floating. In that is baby Krishna. Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. That is why he composes that. Like that, Janak Maharaj is feeling right now. So what is the analogy? The ocean which is there is the love in his heart. This is the second Chaupai or third Chaupai after 285. Ura Umagevu Ambudhi Anuragu. What is that ocean? He says ocean is love of Janak Maharaj. Bhayau Bhupa Mana Manahu Prayagu. The mind of Janak Maharaj is the Prayagraj, which is also included in that big ocean of Pralaya. Siya Saneha Batu Badata Joha. The banyan tree which is there, that is his love for Sita ji. Tapara Rama Pema Sisu Soha. In that banyan tree, on that leaf, there is one small child who is Bala Rama, Bhagwan Rama. Chirajivi Muni Jnana Bikala Jano. Markandeya Rishi. Chirajivi means one who is Chiranjeevi. Markandeya Rishi is one of the Chiranjeevi. He is the one who is getting drowned in this pralaya as though. Budata Laheu Bala Avalambano. Who is Markandeya Rishi here? Janak Maharaj himself. Janak Maharaj himself, he is getting drowned in that pralaya, but he was able to hold support of that little boy, Balarama. Moha Magana Mati Nahi Bidehaki. Goswamiji reminds us this mind is not deluded mind of Janak Maharaj, but it is divine love for God. Mahima siya Raghubara Saneha ki. This is the greatness of love for Bhagwan Rama and Sita ji. Looking at everybody situation, Sita ji could not control herself, but somehow she composed herself with her viveka, that this is not the time to lose one's strength. What Janak Maharaj says, that we will see in the next session. Aganita Gunagana Bhushana Rama, Ashrita Vatsala Jaya Jaya Rama, Ayodhyavasi Sita Rama, Apad Bandhava Jaya Jaya Rama, Dasharatha Nandana Shri Rama, Dashamukha Mardana Jaya Jaya Rama, Kausalya Sukhavardhana Rama, Kamita Phalada Jaya Jaya Rama, Papa Vimochana Shri Rama, Pattabhirama Jaya Jaya Rama, Janaki Vallabha Sita Rama, Jaya Raghurama Jaya Sita Rama, Vanara Sevita Shri Rama, Varidhi Bandhana Jaya Jaya Rama, Hanumat Pujita Sita Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama, Raghupati Raghava Raja Rama, Patita Pavana Sita Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama, Syavara Ramachandra ki jai, Satgurunath Maharaj ki jai.